A villain once said, if I make everybody super, then no one is. And that is the first problem we run into in multiplayer games. We're nothing special because everyone is. Let's talk about that. The most appealing thing to me in single player games is crafting your own unique character. That's the first thing. Then immersing yourself in a world that's not affected by other people. Like the world is yours, the world entirely is your playground, and you are the center of this world. You are the main character. You everything you do is affected. Like everything you do affects the world around you. And it's just amazing. And it's the best part of single player games. The fact that you and your team are the center of the game. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some amazing multiplayer games out there where you could create your character and really look amazing. Like the amount that you could customize your character is enough, and the details and the beauty in these games are just as good as, or sometimes might be even better than some of these single player games. But the problem I personally run into in these multiplayer games is that the way I make my character, I love, but then everything is just so available that anybody could have it. So if anybody could have it, anybody could do the character exactly like my character. Well, as a matter of fact, all they have to do is look at me once and say, well, there's nothing special. There's nothing that makes you separate, that makes you different. There's nothing special in you because anybody could do it, and that's where we run into the problem. If anybody could have it, then it means nothing, and that's what nowadays people have lost their value, especially in relationships, because a lot of relationships people like to be with a lot of people, and that's the same thing in video games. If anybody could have it, then it has no value. Smart game developers solve this issue by giving you an extensive shop where you have enough options to not only customize your character, but you could also put cosmetics and skins and have all types of little details you could tweak, all the way from your weapons to your hands, to your feet, to your eyes, to the hair, like every single detail. And you could customize the colors, and you could customize um textures and all these things. And maybe, just maybe, with enough detail and enough customization, you could do a unique character. You could do your own style, your own guy, but still, there is 100% chance, and this always happens to anybody who's played online, that someone will like the way you look so much that they'll try to imitate it to the last detail, or maybe even go further a bit, making it even better, which makes you feel like, damn, not only did they steal, basically, you feel like they stole from you. Not only did they steal my look, but they also tweaked it and make it better and stealing attention from me. So I'm not the center of attention. And that's always a problem. In single player games, I don't have that problem. I don't have the problem of anybody looking like me. And if they do, I don't see them because they don't exist in my world. When I play single player games, my world is my world, and I'm the center of that world. And like I said, everything I do affects that world. The world is just your playground, and no one is gonna affect it, no one is gonna disturb it. You should just go as you go. And of course, there are amazing moments in multiplayer games that you could only have in a multiplayer game. Like the rush of competing with other players and getting that very satisfying win at the end where you kill two people at the same time, that's not gonna have any match. But compared to a single player game where you just are relaxed and you don't gotta worry about other players and other players looking like you and stealing your shine. Well, there's a balance, no? There's a balance between, do you want to just be in Zen and relax and play at your own pace? Or do you want the rush of competing and in every way, even in competing in how you look? Now, I do gotta say, there is a toxicity level in multiplayer games that after a certain period in time, gaming turned from being a private space that you could do as you wish into a public space. And you gotta understand that when you're online gaming, you're in a public space. You're sharing a world with other people. Now, just because you play a certain way, like you're nice to people and you're not toxic, don't expect people to follow the same rules you follow. Because why would they go through the same? Why would you even be delusional enough to think people are going to follow the rules you follow? Just because you do something doesn't mean people are just going to abide by those rules. You you're in a public space. People are going to live their life and play as they wish. And you got to understand that. A lot of people out there, yes, they're going to ruin the game for you. They're going to go in, I'm not going to lie. They're going to come in to the game where I'm in peace and they're going to ruin that peace. And this is a perfect example where I'm here with a toxic player that's obviously a noob. He's level 30. I'm level 230. I could destroy him, no problem. But why would I do that? Why would I engage when I could just troll him back? Defend yourself. Like, I feel like doing something is better than just complaining about it. Like, why are you complaining about it? Do a video like me and talk about it. Let's talk. You know, you can't fall into their same, you can't fall into their trap because it's obviously a trap. Just brush it off. It's a game. Troll them back. It's not that serious. Troll them back. And at the end of the day, it's just a game. And that's why people, why are you getting so offended? Stop being a baby about this. Yes, they might ruin your game, but you have options to mute them, move to a different server, just continue playing and ignore them. They will eventually just go away. Now, just like in multiplayer games, there's experiences that you could only have in a single player game, like the storytelling and the amount of detail you could go in a single player game, I believe is much more. The biggest problem you'll run into in a single player game that will really be a problem is deciding what car you want to drive, what pants you're going to wear. How are you going to do the quests? Are you going to do the side quests first or are you going to do the main mission? Those are the biggest problems in single player games. You don't have any serious problems besides that. And the games are always so beautifully detailed. Don't get me wrong, there are some amazing details in some multiplayer games. For example,
Man, I do gotta say, this is a beautiful environment. We got a dark sky with thunder, and then we have these jellyfish that are just throwing random electricity. Like, they do such a good job creating alien environments. I love this.
as crazy as it is to me, my most played games are online. My favorite game, Dishonored 2, and my favorite of all time, which is Cyberpunk. I fall so down in this list. My story of the games I played, some of my favorite games like Fallout 4, Battlefield 1, they they they're so low in this shadow of online. The truth is that single player games and multiplayer games both have pros and cons. They both have amazing things that they could do. Like in single player games, you could truly get immersed and go at your own pace, and you could customize your character, and no one will ever be like you. While in multiplayer games, you share a world with people and you create moments that are legitimately unique because you're having an experience with people at that moment. And I don't think you could replicate that in single player games. The amount of fun you could have in a multiplayer game and the amount of satisfaction you could have by getting that win at the end of a match is just a hype of adrenaline. And showing off your cosmetics is just a perk of playing in a multiplayer game. On the other hand, single player games, like my favorite game of all time, which is Cyberpunk, like I enjoy the fact that I am unique. I enjoy the fact that it's my world, my playground. I'm special. I'm the one. I like games that you could achieve that power fantasy where you are the most powerful thing, nothing's gonna surpass you. You are the coolest, most badass guy in the whole land. And that's nothing is gonna surpass that experience, and that's the experience single player games give you. And especially the fact that in single player games you have a story. Like the story, you some of these games you're playing a movie and you feel like the center of that movie. There's so many examples of this, but to me, I'm a big Bethesda fan. And besides Bethesda, I love CD Projekt Red. Those are my top two. Nothing is ever gonna match that The Witcher 3 vibe. Like I enjoyed my time in it and it was an experience while I played it. While live service games like Fallout 76, which I play a lot, Elder Scrolls Online, GTA, and Fortnite, those games are gonna give me a value that single player games are never gonna give me, and I'm always gonna return to them because they're live. At the end of the day, I think both play styles are very valid, and it's just a matter of what you like best and what you choose. I like single player games in my mind, but I play a lot more multiplayer games. Multiplayer, single player, it doesn't matter. You tell me in the comments. Please leave a like. I appreciate you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Peace.